All right, well, welcome back again to the Souder Alumni Center here at Emporia State for another exciting day in Emporia State basketball history. Here's our format for what's going to go on today. In a moment, I'm going to introduce our Vice President, Director of Athletics, David Spafford. He will say a few words. He will then introduce our new basketball coach. He'll say a few words. We'll get a couple of questions from the audience during that. When that is over, Coach Billeter is going to go back. He'll do a quick interview with Blake Cripps on KVOE, and then we'll do some interview stuff in the back with them. So before we get started, make sure everybody's got your cell phone on silence. And it is my pleasure to introduce the Vice President and Director of Athletics at Emporia State, Mr. David Spafford.
Thank you, Don. Welcome, everybody. Great crowd. Thanks for coming out today. It's an exciting day here at Emporia State as we announce our new men's head basketball coach. I'd like to start off with some thank yous. First off, we've been in a very good situation with our basketball team in the last few years. We've been at right around 20 wins a year. It's really helped us set up for success as we move into this next era of our basketball program. I'd like to thank Coach Doty and his staff and everything that they did to help with our program as we moved along. Special thank you to our committee that really helped put things together. And for the committee, this is a shout out of Operation Flat Iron is a success. So thank you for everything that you've done to help us with that. Little private joke, I guess, along the way with that one. But the other thing, I also like to thank President Hush, who's here today. Thank you for everything you've done to help support us and our athletic program. And he was very much a part of the overall process. And we met multiple times in the few weeks after we knew that Coach Doty was leaving to help us get things started. So thank you for everything. Thank you for your leadership, for helping us get to this point. Also, a very special welcome to Coach Billeter and his wife Paula for being here. Welcome to Hornet Nation. It's great to have you. And as I usually kind of walk through these, we talked a little bit about the process along the way, and it was very exciting. It happened fast, and it was very, very quick. We were very, very fortunate with the group that we had involved to help find a new coach that we just sat down and we made the decisions of what we needed, what we were looking for, and then we opened up our all of our address books, and we started doing our networks and making phone calls and seeing who would have interest in being our next basketball coach and walking through this process. We have had very, very good pool of candidates, very highly successful coaches at all levels of basketball. I was very fortunate to be able to talk to a lot of different people I haven't talked to in years on the Division I level, at the Power 5 level, all the way down and working through all the different conferences across the country who had people that would be very good fits for here at Emporia State as we walk through that. As we were able to identify our candidates, three things really stood out as we looked at what we wanted to do. Obviously, high integrity. Somebody who would do things the right way, treated the players right, and would take care of our program and our student athletes the way they need to be at a championship level. Second, self-drive, self-explanatory, I think, when we look at that. Somebody who knows how to get after it. You don't have to tell them what they need to get done. They've been there. They understand it. They know the level we need to be at. They know the sacrifice that we're putting into this program to keep us at a level and to move forward to start winning in those mid-20s, getting close to 30 games a year, playing in that NCAA tournament, going for a national championship. That's the bottom line. That's what we're looking for. We have multiple people who met those qualifications. And we were very, very excited as we went through this in the short amount of time that we did, that we found Coach Billeter. Coach, welcome to Emporia State.
Wow, what a crowd. Hornet yellow, tie, men. Y'all have class right now, right? But you got an excuse to come because of this, so you got out of class. I like that to a certain degree, but look who's sitting right in front of you. So we'll have a little bit of explanation. The librarian FAR is in front of you, and Terry, we'll talk about this later. Hornets must love water. I don't know anything about hornets. They scared the heck out of me, but this rain today, and I'm just telling you, it's a great day to be a Hornet. So I think there's a nice combo going here, and I also want to thank these guys. It was a process, and they didn't miss a beat. And then they brought the South Dakota weather up with us for this press conference, and I'm telling you what, we are in great hands with this administrative team. People, ask a lot of times, and I'm going to address this, but How can you not be intrigued by a job that the town, the commissioner, the fire station is in the gym you play? I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm sure every coach that's taken this job brings up that exact same thing. But when you think about Dean Smith and you think about the mayors in your gym, I think that's a pretty cool place to start to continue winning a basketball program. I do want to thank Coach Doty as well. You took about half my speech away by thanking everybody, but I'll repeat. All of these press conferences, you have to thank a lot of people, and I'm going to do it fast, but you need to do that. And I would start out with Coach Doty. When I took over at Augustana, we'd had 17 straight sub-500 seasons in the conference, of which the first few years I contributed to that run too. And we got that thing turned around and we got it going, but it took 3 or 4 years for us to get it going. That isn't this situation. This situation, you guys had a coach in here that got you to the regional. He won games, and to me, what I found exciting about that, I know. First, I should thank for taking a chance on a young up-and-coming coach who hasn't got a lot of experience and hasn't really done a lot, and I hope I can be okay for you. I want to win right away, too, and I'm not afraid to talk about that and to do that. We need to do things, and put this in a situation and go. I don't want to take 5 or 6 years to rebuild. I want to get going, and I want to get going fast, and that's this day and age of basketball, to be real honest. So. Very quick, and Don did we did such a good job of throwing. This is so well organized. I mean, you have the commissioner from the MIAA here. You have Coach Slaymaker here. This is just it's basketball country, and you guys love your sports, and to have Mike here and what have you. This is really something that's very special to me, and I love you guys back there. Don't forget you 3 back there that came and got this cheering going, because we need about 300 more of you guys every game. You make more noise than anybody else, and we've got to have you. I'm very grateful. The one word I would say, and I really want to thank David, did a fantastic job of heading this up, and Steve Roadcamp, his assistant AD, those two were fantastic. And I'm going to do a shout out to Brian Osterman. I hope I don't get in trouble, because I'm sure Coach O has friends all over, and they're going to say, you got him, and you probably told me I had the job or whatever. That's how this goes. So I got Coach O probably in trouble right now, but people may not realize we go way back. I competed against him for kids when I was at North Dakota State, and he was at Missouri Western, and he beat me on a few, and I think I beat him on less. It's funny, I have this job, and I speak quickly. I'll keep it to 10 minutes, so you got to hear fast. But, I get why I got it. So 2 years ago in the regional championship, we lost to Northwest Mo, and we hosted it. We held Trevor Hudgens to 37. To start this year, we go to Missouri Western, lose to them, and that'd be in 4, should have been 2. We should have won. I think quickly Don brought my career record in the league to play. I'm 11-9, which is, I think, better than being, So I get why you hired me. I own this league. All right, I have a really, really good feel for what we're doing. I have to bring, when we met your president, President Hush, he's just something else. That's all I'm going to say. But the way he thinks and forward thinking and progressive thinking and energy. We met for 2.5 hours, and it seemed like 20 minutes. And what all of these guys have in common is vision, progress. Let's build. Let's win. We want to turn this, and we're going to turn this. And that's where you want to be. There's nothing about, we may not do this, or maybe we can't do that. It's like, let's get it done. And you know what? That's my team. Next play, let's get it done. Don't worry about anything. If you've missed 46 shots, make the 47th, but let's watch film together and maybe fix those other 46 misses in a row, because we're probably catching it not shot ready. We're leaning a little bit. We're rushing the shot. We're not practicing at the speed we shoot. We'll fix those things. That's easy. But on the court, represent the team. Off the floor, represent the program, represent the university, represent the community, and I'm going to do the same thing. And on the court, do the same thing. I take you out of the game, get out. I don't embarrass you, don't embarrass me. Fix stuff in practice. My door is always open. My door is always open. You got a problem, come shut the door. You're a man, I'm a man. Let's sit and visit, and let's work stuff out. Communication, loyalty, hard work, and we're going to be just fine. We're going to win a lot of games. And I look forward to having that opportunity to do it. I do a couple things just that I want to mention really quick about Coach Doty, as well as you continue to do, and I'll get off that one. The one thing also, I have great respect for him and what he did, and something that I want to make sure. He did, in my opinion, an incredibly good job of promoting the program. And we want to continue to promote. I will say this. I am 1/1,000,000th as good as him on social media, but I will somehow figure it out. I have like I might have a couple hundred followers. I know he's got about 17.2 million, but I'm going to catch him. That'll be my goal, is I'm going to try to get there where I can get him and do the same things. It's kind of one of those things. I definitely want to thank, I want to thank the players. I want to thank all the players that have been at this university. I want to thank Augustana University for giving me that opportunity. 21 years, but it's time to go. And, it's kind of one of those things, let's just get it out of the room, because President asked me 77 ways and times, why am I leaving Augustana? I swear he thinks that I'm running from the police. I think he thinks that, I know, we owe money on our house. I don't know what I know he can't figure it out. We just are really wanting a new challenge. We want this opportunity. We started south. Well, there were no good jobs. We kind of worked our way this direction. Weather had something to do with it. So we got here, we had an opportunity to get the job. We had to get away from that weather in South Dakota. So we just kind of worked our way up, and this one presented itself. What really is the intriguing, I love this league. It's a Division II league. It has that history. It has that tradition. It's a great league. I'm coming from one, too. We're the two best leagues in the country. It's the best regional in the country. Mankato won the regional championship at their home court, beating Northwest Mo in that last second shot. Northwest Mo beat us, yes. When we won it, we beat Northwest Mo in 2016 in our regional championship. I think it's been like 11, 12 years, Mike, you'll know, our leagues have played, I know Northern got second, but we've either been involved or played for the national championship like 9 of the last 11 years or some ridiculous figure. And it's just, and I want to be in the best, and we're going to be at that level, and I can't wait to do it. Just really, again, excited about that opportunity. Our program, like I said, it's going to be based on many things. We do want to be in the community. We will be in the community. We want to develop really good, fine young men on and off the floor. One of the favorite things I do, and you've been at it as long as you were at Augustana, go to a lot of weddings. You start coaching kids of kids you coached in camp, and that's fun. Those are memories that will just be there forever. And all right. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I don't hide it. Well, now I can't talk about you. I will lose it. So we'll leave her out. She's got nothing to do with it for a while. She's all in. I always kid about this. No, she's the best. It's funny how you get in this business. I told this story earlier, and then I'll be done. I started coaching. I was 20 years old in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. I always tell everybody, I was a very sub-mediocre player, and I blame my 3 knee surgeries in high school, but trust me, they did not have a lot to do with why I went to the University of Illinois and didn't play basketball, trust me. It was way more my lack of ability to run the floor very fast. But, I've always loved the game. My brother was the student. He did the play-by-play for University of Illinois football, basketball. So long story short, I got to know Coach Henson and those people. I started coaching at it's called University High School in Urbana, and all the kids were the professors' kids. And it's kind of a funny story, but my starting center, we're playing high school basketball, I'm JV coach. My starting center was 12 years old. Now he's like a sophomore at the University of Illinois, and today he is the richest person in the world. But, no, it wasn't like one of those guys, but he's really wealthy. And it was amazing. His name was Ofer, and his entire career he never made a basket, and that was his name. But he was a great kid, and he started for me. And so it was all these kids that were incredibly intelligent. And I played Unity Tolono High School, my first game as a coach. And we worked them, and these kids hadn't won in years. And I got to tell you, and it's just when I fell in love with the game, we came out against a really good Unity Tolono team, and we barely lost 83-13. And all the parents came up and slapped me on the back, go, Coach, you never had double figures on these guys before. And I was like, I can do this. I love this game. I can only go up. And so didn't win a game that year. Varsity won, beat DeLand Weldon 58-56. At the time, the Hinsdale Central High School varsity coach had been the captain for the Illini. He said, anybody that's on a staff that can win a game there, I want on my staff. That's kind of how I got hired at Hinsdale Central, by being the JV coach at a school that won one game, and it made the USA Today. So, how you get into this business, everyone has a story to tell, and they are unique. But I'm just thankful that I am, and it's something that I love, and I have a passion for it, and I'll carry that on. My players will know that, and the community will know that as well. So from my youngest granddaughter, Callie, through Paula, I know my family is in 100%. And I got to do a shout-out to my radio guy. So Jeff Filling was my radio guy. We were going to retire together, and that ain't happening. And so we had quite a few years left in me. Don't trust me. He's a young man. He's only like in his 60s. And so I didn't mention him in my release. He's my next door neighbor, lives right across the street from me, and has not talked to me since. And he butt dialed me, and I said, Jeff? And he goes, butt dial, and hung up. Now, I think that's just a way of telling me he didn't want nothing to do with me because I forgot to mention him. So I am definitely, like I said, he's across the street, and he helps me out with different, we kind of snow blow each other's driveway and everything else. So thank you to everyone. When you thank everyone, you forget everyone. And so I know I forgot somebody, and then I go home, and I'm like, oh, shoot, Paul, I forgot so-and-so and so. So it is a heartfelt thanks to everyone in this room, every player I've ever coached, and upcoming, and with these guys. I'm fired up, excited to get started. So, to end it, I know, Don, was I 10 minutes?
You're perfect.
Aha! Good answer. But again, heartfelt thanks. I can work with this. We had games up north in certain cities in snowstorms, and the crowd wasn't this big at the entire game. All right? So I appreciate each and every one of you are here. And again, thank you for being here. Thank you so much, Don, for all you did. Thank you, David. Thank you, President Hush. Thank you to everybody. Thank you. Happy to.
At this time, we're ready if we have a couple questions. Anyone?
Coach, coming from a national championship program that you helped build, in order to get you to move on to a place where you had a lot of success and really comfortable, how important was it to move to a place that had national championship aspirations and a plan in place in terms of administration to make that happen?
I think it had everything to do with it. You know, when I took North Dakota State job, it was Division II. They'd been to three men's basketball NCAA tournaments in the history of school. I was there 5 years. We co-champed the league in '95 with UND, and we went 4 out of 5 years, 4 straight NCAA tournaments. We went to Augie. They had been to 4 in the history of the school. I got a really good transfer, Corey McIntosh from Iowa State. And then next year I signed our new coach, Cody Schilling, and turned the corner. And we went 9 out of, I think, 11 NCAA tournaments, and we started building it. What it is when you get going with 1 or 2, keep it going. And you build off that. And then once you get it, all you have to do right now, and Mike knows this, is win this regional. You have to win the regional. If you win the regional, you have a chance to win the national championship. Very good chance. And so I look at it as a chance to build, and the administration here wants that to happen. And so with that kind of backing, it's just my job to get it done. It's different now. I mean, you know, with the portal and everything else, recruiting's different. It's not bad. It's what it is. So don't sit there and complain. The one thing, you wouldn't believe this, but I have zero resistance to change. I love change. I'll change at halftime. I'm a different coach. Hey, they're doing something, I'll draw a play up and we'll put it in. I don't care. I'll steal it off the NBA and watch a game. I call it Boston. Our 3 out-of-bounds plays are called Celtics. I mean, if I see something good, I'm using it. And so that's a very good question. But you got to get yourself in the regional. Then anything can happen. It's a good question.
Coach, how would you describe your coaching style, or how would you players coach, or what would you say, you as a coach?
Sure. First, I give real long answers because then there's fewer questions. So you guys learn that right now, all right? Because they get tired of listening to you. My coaching style is very simple. We want to score 90 every game if we can. You got to outscore people. I love guys that can score, shoot, score both. But we push it. So the first 15 seconds of every possession we call preset, they're on their own. We run designated lanes and big rim runs, and we do all that. So it's organized. But you get to do what you want to do. And you saw that in recruiting. Ball fake attack, hit the 3. I don't care. You get the first 15, I get the next. And so after that, we'll be into some form of we call it rocket. We'll be into a ball screen type continuation offense. We have several sets, at least 3 to 4 sets of counters for each player that plays that spot. If I have a shooter, I got to have 3 or 4 things for him to get his shot. When he's hot, I got to get him the ball till they shut it off. It's not rocket science, you know. You better be prepared. Out of bounds plays, you might not have timeouts left. We have out of bounds plays. We name them. We never use them during the game. We only use them if there's 2 seconds left, side out, baseline out, and we need a bucket to win. But you practice them every day. You know, at least a couple times a week. Home run, different plays. I've won games with less than 2 seconds, won NCAA regional games with less than 2 seconds running certain plays. So you just got to be prepared and make your team think there's nothing they're going to see they're not ready for. There's not a screen. There's nothing. And then we have a system defensively. We do. Our guys, you could go to Augie right now and ask my team, and every one of them is going to tell you what we do defensively. I love basketball. I'm very involved. I'm involved in practice. I talk a lot. Can anybody figure that out? Are you surprised by that? But we're positive. We coach. We want to make them better. My job, Reggie Jackson had a great quote. A coach's job is to make a player think he's better than he is. That's my job. I don't rip down. I don't believe in trying to tear down and build back up. If coaches do, they're successful with that, I don't care. It's a different era, but I never did that. So I changed, too. I changed to my players. What they can do, I'll change with what I do to make sure they're successful. That's a good question. You can tell I'm in a good basketball area. Those are really good questions. I'll talk hoop with anybody all day long if you want. I can't wait. Coach Slaymaker is going to show me the museum and everything else. We better take 2 days off on that. We need to probably going to have to stay somewhere that night because that is going to be a great day for me.
All right, are we good?
Nobody else?
All right.
Really? Guys, thanks for being here. All right, get ready. We're going to have a good run. All right, appreciate you very much. I appreciate all you guys being here, too. Thank you.
And here's your first.
My wife, Paula, please meet her because she has a lot to do with why I am here. Hey, hey.
And there.
See?
Step over the side. How'd you give the first one? Yeah.
Thank you very much. I love this.
All
I
right.
like that. That's what we're going to do. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for this. There is a brief reception over in the atrium. Feel free to go over there. Coach B is going to be over and talk with Blake, and then we'll be in the back. Thank you all for coming today. Hope to see you next year when we start the season.
Thank you.
You probably talked to a lot of coaches and a lot of people about all those coaches. What stood out about Tom Billeter?
The main thing that stood out with Tom was his integrity and how he manages his program. And, obviously the success aspect of it, he's been there, he's done it. He understands how we want to be and where we want to be. And I think with the support that we have in place right now for men's basketball and all of our sports, it gives us a great opportunity to be able to have that caliber of an individual in play. The other aspect, when you look at his pedigree, it's similar to mine in some ways. He reminded me of a number of head coaches who I've worked with over the years from Kansas State and Wichita State and on down the line, that he has that element that about him that just really intrigued, not only myself, but the other folks on the committee also.
You feel fortunate? It's not every day you find someone who's been at it in D2 for 21 years and has won a national championship. It almost feels too good to be true.
Well, it's, we did a lot of homework, and our staff that was involved with this, we all worked hard. We got into our networks. We've all been doing this for 30 plus years, and we know a lot of people. So we're very, very fortunate to still have some of those connections along the way and to be able to have those conversations and be able to explain what we're looking for, what we need here for Emporia State right now. And I think that was the other aspect of this, is knowing who we are, where we are. What do we need to do to continue to move the program forward and get things taken care of the way we need to? And I think when Coach, and we had a few others who also had a very similar pedigree, who have been in Final Fours, who had been in the NCAAs for a long time. We've had Division I folks who are in there who played in Final Fours and have won championships. We're just very fortunate that we were able to attract that caliber of individual to be able to have the conversation about who's going to lead our next program or lead our basketball program.
We haven't talked to you since Coach Doty left. Obviously bummed to see him go, but can that be something that actually helps Emporia State basketball, saying, hey, we can help guys get to that next level?
Yeah, it does. Coach has been very open about everything. We have, constant communication between ourselves. I really appreciate our friendship, how he managed things, how he manages the program. We knew since I first got here that he will be a D1 coach. The question is when. We made it very difficult for him to leave on multiple levels, but I didn't want him to have to take a bad job either. I wanted to make sure he had the opportunity to be able to be selective and to put that into play. So I think, he did an awesome job while he was here. He got us to the point we're at. He put in a good framework and good groundwork we're able to manage at 20 wins, and then now we need to build on top of that. The hard reality is we need to start winning some championships, and it's time. And I feel like with what we've been able to do today will help us get there and start accomplishing those in the future as we move along.
Last one for me, sorry. We talked about his resume and his coach, but personally, what stood out to him just through conversations that you had with him that you made him confident, just the leader that he is?
I think, like I mentioned earlier, his integrity, how he conducted himself through the process. We were very, very concerned with everybody involved of making sure we help protected them too. A lot of these individuals are very highly successful in their particular programs that they're in right now. And so I think having that conversation and making sure that we are mutual back and forth of how we manage that. Energy level, as you saw today, energy level super high. You know, we need somebody who's got that high energy to be able to come in here and get this thing done and get things rolling. That was very, very important. We get into talking about X's and O's and how he manages the player. You know, he does things the right way. You know, he's not going to take a shortcut. We don't put up with shortcuts, bottom line. And he's not one that will do that. And I think that was very important as we looked at things and getting things taken care of that way too. So I think there was a multitude of things as we got into this. Once he was able to meet with President Hush, I think that helped seal everything and get us to where we were at. I think the committee did a nice job of getting us to the point that we were right now and getting this taken care of.
Going back to Coach Doty for a second, he's been pretty open about his support for new hire and everything. How fortunate do you feel that they've got kind of a good relationship already?
Well, I guess they've known each other since he was 17. He brought that up. And I don't know if, Coach, you want me to bring that up. I'm going to anyway. And it was pretty funny. He goes, yeah, I was 17 when you got the Augie job. And I just kind of started chuckling a little bit on that one. But they've known each other for a very, very long time. And they know each other and have had communications over the years and stuff. And I think it's, when you leave somewhere and you're able to leave on a good note is really, really important. It's sometimes it's hard to do along the way. But I feel very fortunate that the way things worked through the process on Coach Doty leaving and then bringing on Coach Billeter, I think everybody's been in a really good space, and it's been very, very positive all the way through. And so I'm very excited that we have that continuity to be able to take care of our guys, and that's why we're here. We're here to give them the opportunities that we had as we were student athletes, and we want to make sure we give them a championship opportunity and getting their degree and also having a job waiting for them when they get out of here too. And hopefully maybe some of them can still play some basketball. And but if not, we got them covered with their degree to be able to go out and be successful in our community and take care of business.
Coach was obviously at Augustana for quite a long time. What do you think it says about Emporia State that you guys are able to pull away a coach from a place that has been 21 years?
Well, I think you have to really look at how we're set up right now. I have been very fortunate in my career over the last 30 years to be able to be at Kansas State and Wichita State and to be able to do the things that we were able to accomplish there and to be a part of that team and to learn how you do that. Everything has to line up from the president down to the AD, down to the coach. I think you look at Manhattan, President Weefall was there, Coach Snyder was there, Max Urich was there. We got to Wichita State, Don Beggs, President, Jim Schaus, and Mark Turgeon. And when you start to have this synergy, like we have right here, it's very, very special to have something like that in place. And when we're all rowing the boat together and we all know what the bottom line is and where the ultimate goal is, you can get anything accomplished that you put your head down and you go out and you attack it and you get it done. And that's where we're at. That's where we are right now here at Emporia State, that we can do that. And knowing that going into this process and having our candidates be able to see how we're supporting all aspects of everything in that basketball program, everybody was like, gosh, I wish my program was like this. Everybody mentioned that somewhere in the process, that they were like, oh, I wish I could be there because you guys are set up and you're ready to go. And the key now is getting the right person to sit in that chair who can go out and get it done and who can go quickly and get going.
You mentioned how quickly you filled the position. Did it just happen that way, or were you trying to get the position filled in the quick period of time?
Our goal was to have somebody in place before the Final Four. There is a lot of movement. Men's basketball, football are very similar on the type of hiring process. You've got to move quickly. You've got to move fast. You've got to be discreet. You've got to be able to go out there and have the connections in place of the people that you need to contact. And we, once everything was official, we went right after it. And that's exactly what we did. And I wanted to move as quick as I could because once that first NCAA weekend is done, everything changes. So positions open, players open, the portal opens. So you have a new dynamic. And our goal was to try to manage that dynamic in place so that we had our core candidates and then we're able to solidify them before we got too far down the line on these next couple weeks of basketball, because everything's going to change. They can get swooped up by somebody else, for example. Other players come in the portal. There's just a lot of elements involved with that we wanted to make sure we were in front of and to be able to manage in that process to get this done. And we have to move quickly. I mean, I flew all over the country evaluating talent. Our other staff flew around the country. They were all evaluating talent. We hit it from D2 to D1, and we got after it, and it worked out really well in our favor.
One more. You've mentioned a couple times. How important was it to make sure you got somebody who can win now? It sounds like you didn't want to rebuild or somebody who's going to be good in 3 or 4 years when they can get all their recruits in or something like that.
It was really important. It was important to be able to have somebody who can walk in and put things together and be able to attack the portal and attack the recruiting right away. We've got 30 days starting, actually we're down to 28 now, 29, that we have with our current players to be able to do evaluations and see where they're at and how they're going to fit into the program. And it's really important that we get everybody in place and everybody here to have that opportunity. When I look back at where we were with women's basketball last year, we were actually 3-4 weeks behind schedule for multiple reasons that I won't get into. The challenge of that put Coach O in a situation where he wasn't able to go out and do the recruiting necessary and the talent evaluation to get him in a better position for this year, bottom line. And so, learning through these processes, evaluating who you are, where you're at in the process, and what you need to get accomplished has really been beneficial in this whole thing and putting it together. So that gave us the opportunity to be able to move quickly to get us into the position that we're in today, to have somebody who can just step right in. They know exactly what they need to do. They've been there. They've competed in the conference, against the conference. They competed in our region, and they've won the national championship, and they know how to get it done. So that was one of the number one areas on our list. And, if it wouldn't have worked out, it wouldn't have worked out. We still had a couple, we had others who were very similar in that mode that could still do that. They were in our top 4. So we were fortunate. I'm not going to, you got to have a little luck in life, and I think between this and you look at some of the other hires we've had with Coach Hill and some others, I really think we've been very fortunate to be where we are, but I can't do it without a supportive president and President Hush, bottom line. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Cael, you ready?
Yeah, sure. Well, early interactions, obviously. What are your thoughts? Coach, him and Coach Doty, they definitely bring energy.
Right, yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for Coach Billeter getting here. He was talking about his playing style, and, I'm really interested in that type of play, and I'm really excited to get started.
What is it about the transition basketball that excites you so much?
I've been playing, transition basketball. I like getting up and down the court. I think we got good guys for that. We got, fast guys in shape. That's a good way to play. He likes putting up points, so I think it's going to be really good fit.
And obviously, depending on who comes back, you may be one of the big leaders and veterans on the team to kind of branch the eras here. Mm-hmm. What do you feel like your role is going to be for the team?
Yeah, I think we got a good core of guys coming back. I think I'm one of more like the older guys. We got a lot of freshmen, but with the way the portal is, there's a lot of talented guys in there, so we got a couple of those guys. I think we'll be ready to go.
Anybody else good?
Just what's been, you've only known him for a few days.
Right.
But what kind of stood out to you right off the bat about Coach?
I like his energy. I like again, the way he talked about putting up points, fast playing style. I'm really excited to play that way. I think we got a good group of guys that'll be good with that system.
Yeah, being a better leader on this team, how do you
Right.
bring in the younger guys and get them through a coaching change like this?
Yeah, I guess I am one of the older guys now. We got a couple of the red shirt guys. It's going to be tough, but, I think we got a good group of guys that, we're really close, and I think we're going to be just fine.
How are you going to keep the mindset? I know sometimes with coaching changes,
Yeah.
it brings out guys from the transfer portal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And keep the same mindset that you've had the whole time.
We just got to keep doing the same things, keep working hard. We got a good postseason, workouts, lifts. Everybody's showing up and working hard, so I think we're going to be in a good spot.
Does it excite you, the opportunity to play in a new system and
Yeah.
learn a new offense and play under a new style and stuff?
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. Like I said, I really like playing in transition and his play style. I'm really excited for that.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
He'll help get you out.
All right, yeah, I don't want to mess it up.
He'll help get you out.
Coach, you touched on a little bit then the most obvious question, 21 years, I think most people would have assumed you were going to retire there. What made you decide to take on a new job?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm not ready to retire. I'm not even close. I don't have any skills. I mean, really, I can't build birdhouses, or I don't golf well. I'm not a fisherman, or I just don't have anything. And I love basketball. It's a new opportunity. It's a chance to be in a league I have great respect for and go against great coaches. There's no secret to why I know I could have stayed there, and there was no issues, and I know that. But and I love that place, and very, very appreciative of all they did for me and my family. But I also am really I just wanted another. It's not even a challenge, but it is. But I know Coach did a great job. But we don't have a lot of players coming back. I mean, it is a challenge. We do got to go out and hit the trails and get the players here and get ourselves going with kind of a new program. So, but very appreciative of what Coach Doty did, because he shows you can win here, and I think that's an important piece of the puzzle.
And then I guess the flip side of that, why Emporia? Were you looking for?
No, I had really and truly Coach Osterman. I mean, we were visiting, and I've known Brian for a long time, and kind of, and then I got to hear various things that were, intriguing to me about it. And my wife and I are from a town of when we met, we've been together since we were 16 and 14, and we were from a town of 2,500 people. Coming back to a smaller community appealed to us, and yet we're only 6 hours from where our kids are and what have you. So. It just fit. It just worked. I don't even have a great answer for you, but very much to the excitement of your administration, David, Steve Roadcamp, but even President Hush is just a really cool individual. I was really impressed with him, as was my wife, and they included her in the process, and that was smart, because that was the one that they really needed to make sure, and they got her. They got Paula fired up, and that was great for me.
How important is it to come to a place where you want to be able to win now, not do a 5-year rebuild?
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. I could have retired. I mean, I don't care if it's. I mean, I hope to be here 5 years or more. That's not the problem. But I just don't want to take 2 or 3 years to do it. In this day and age, to be honest, with the way it works, I kind of hinted to it. I just didn't want to get into all that up there. But with the portal, you kind of. I mean, you have to take some kids. You have to do that, but you can get it done a little bit faster, too, because there are players out there probably a little bit older and a little bit more ready to play. On the flip side, I'm kind of a system coach. We run a system. We do things a certain way, and you kind of got to learn what I do, and my older teams have always done real well. So we'll find a mix, and that's kind of part of the fun and part of the challenge, too, is combining new talent with kids that have been in the program for a while. I have to get there, though. I mean, like I said, everyone's brand new right now, so I don't have that yet, but I hope in a couple years we'll have that type of system in place. Sorry.
What's your mindset when it comes to attacking the portal in this day and age?
I haven't. Augie's not a job that we did a lot of that. We just have a different setup there, even like how kids, how they live in the dorms, the length of that. Portal kids don't want that. So our situation is a little bit different there. We completely understand the portal. Trust me, it's addicting. You're in it. All you do is just look at it all the time. I'm not kidding. It's kind of a funny deal. I get it. To say, do you love it, hate it? I don't care. It's here, so I'm going to love it. And we're going to attack it. And we're going to do things that you got to do to be successful. I look at it as it can fit something when you need something. Like you hopefully have your base in play, but when you need something specific or something certain, or you just see a player in there that you know is just too good to say no to, you go on them. I would not want to be building my entire team year in and year out all on portal kids. That's not my goal. I want to have a great base and develop kids for 4 years if I can.
You got some guys returning here. You met them the other day. What was that meeting like?
Yeah, well, it was not. We couldn't even have played 3-on-3, so it was a little bare. But other than that, they're great young men. Enjoyed visiting with them. Like we talked about, they know how to win. They seem excited, and all of them had nothing but positive things to say about Emporia, about the university, about their experience here, basketball, athletically, but also academically, and throughout the community. Nothing but great things, and I've heard that from other people that have now contacted me that played here, or even coached here, and they have all had the same thing to say, but nothing but positives about the university and the community.
When you were talking with Spafford, Coach O, what did they tell you about the fans here?
Well, they said, I will say this. They said we want to get more there. I mean, we want to get them there and get them excited, because it's nuts when that thing's full. And, it's such a, the environment, and you can even see it on film, because, of course, we've watched, we've been in that regional a lot of times, and so we might not have been playing necessarily Emporia, but when you're playing Central Mo, Northwest Mo, and you're playing those teams, a lot of the games we'd watch how, Emporia beat Northwestern Mo the year that we were trying to, beat them in the regional. Obviously, we watched that game. And you talk about an intimate venue. I mean, those fans are on you right there in White Arena Coliseum. And so it's fun to think about having that place pretty full and that noise generated. It's all metal and brick, and that makes a lot of noise. And we're excited about that. I'm sure I think that'll be a selling point for my future players, is to have a venue like that.
We have a sister station in South Dakota that had a question request for you that I'm passing on to you. How do you kind of look back at your 21 years?
Oh, you saw? I couldn't. It was special. Great. That's it. Appreciative.
As you talk to the guys, whether it's guys you're recruiting or guys that are already here, what is your message to them on what they can expect from you, but also what you expect from them?
We talk a lot about first, obviously, it's basketball. That's why they're here. So we know that. So we talk a lot about the university and what it can do for you. We talk a lot about what our staff and I can do for you as a young man, what we can do for you off, on and off the floor, what we want to, what do you want to do, project you as everything. We talk about almost everything but basketball, and then we have the opportunity to really visit about that. And one thing I like about having a specific style of play, I can be consistent with that, and I can recruit to it a little bit too. And so I do like the way we play in terms of a fast-paced, open offense. We like to score. Kids want to play that way this day and age, and it fits what we do very, very well. Now, in terms to let them play like that, I didn't hit it too hard up there. They got a guard for me. Everybody actually, we spend way more time on defense than we do on offense. So, we need to, they're going to have to come here and play some defense for me. And if you're not very good at it, you better get, at least good at something, whether it be digging down or weak side or doing something. You better find a job defensively because you got to be able to play a little bit of both.
Coach, you talked about also up there your experience with the conference and playing some teams. How do you think that's going to help you as you transition into this role?
Now remember, 11-9, so let's brag about that. I owned it. I'm just telling you. I think there's always a lot of, even though it's funny, even though you don't necessarily, play each other all the time, we do every year because we always have one of those crossover challenges. And so you do follow the league. I was going to mention up there, I didn't have time and I wanted to be done, but, my family alone, the MIAA is going to sell a lot of those subscriptions that people are going to be watching this basketball games because they're all going to be watching and we watch too. And so I think I have a really good feel for the league. I have great respect for it.
You got any Kansas ties? The recruiting trail, are you calling up?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny you say that. Obviously, Kansas City's gotten really good in basketball. And, years ago, nobody remember, we signed a kid out of here named Adam Peaks when I was at Rice University, and he was a really good player for us. And Kevin Rabbit, I'll go in these gyms and his name's up on the wall. And so I've always had a great respect for Kansas basketball, the junior colleges I've lived in. When I was at A&M, I was kidding. I had my own plane. I'd take a plane and go to Garden City and recruit and get back that night. And then I got to Augustana and I had a 1999 Ford Taurus with 283,000 miles on it. And we still found our way down here. So the junior colleges here are pretty, they're pretty famous and they've always got good players. So, and if there's a high school player in the state, we want to be on them. We aren't one of these that the other backyards look better than ours. If there's a player in Emporia and they're good, which I think there are a couple, we're going to recruit them and we're going to be on them. It's huge. It's easy, too. And it's good for the parents. If you can get a local player this day and age, that does nothing but help your program. But they need to be good. If they're not good enough, that can be a problem. So, they got to be pretty good players. But if they're pretty good players, they can really help your program. Pretty honest answer, to be honest. Caught me with that South Dakota question. I thought I was done with South Dakota. I'm moving on. I'm in Emporia. You don't go 21 years, win a national championship, and not have some pretty good feelings about the place, But we're happy. I don't want to keep acting like a baby up here, but I'm moving forward. I'm going, so it's good. Thanks, you guys.